Anthony Edwards made shocking comments about potentially joining the New York Knicks one day to reunite with Karl Anthony Towns after a fan was telling him to join the Knicks, and we're going to break it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video because a fan was yelling to Anthony Edwards after the game when him and Karl Anthony Towns were doing a jersey swap to join the New York Knicks, and Edwards did not exactly deny doing so. When he was asked by a Knicks fan, once that contract is up, New York, baby, New York, Edwards responded, I definitely would love to be reunited with Karl Anthony Towns. You could see them doing the jersey swap right there. And look, there's a few different ways to look at this. One of the things that it's important to mention is that Anthony Edwards, on top of being so fun on the court, also likes to have fun off the court. On the mic, just in general, the man's not someone who's going to give that good, bad interview where it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe you never know what's going to happen. Like, he's not going to do that. He's like, I love my time in Minnesota. I guess we'll see what happens when that bridge crosses, but I'm not focused on that. No, Anthony Edwards likes having fun. He likes messing around. He likes just having fun with it. So that's why he said this. It's why he didn't deny it. He knew it would be fun to say. And also, in the process, he didn't say, oh, yeah, I'll see you in New York. I love to play in MSG. No, it's about something way more simple. It's about Karl Anthony Towns. He wants to be reunited with his former teammate in Karl Anthony Towns. The two are very close friends. And Edwards more said this because he likes to prop up his other guys. He likes to propel other people. And this was highlighted by what he said before the game. Edwards mentioned, he said, we were together for a couple hours yesterday, speaking on him and Towns. I told him, I don't care who you already told you're giving your jersey to. I gotta have it. And then he mentioned that he pretty much just moved everyone else out of the way and let me get the jersey. Edwards and Towns became very good friends in their time in Minnesota together when Towns was really the franchise player until Edwards, like Towns, was picked first overall because Minnesota's had around 5,000 first overall picks despite being a team since 2000 something, or since the early 90s or whatever. Essentially, what we're seeing is Edwards and Towns are close. When Edwards took over as the franchise player, Towns was completely okay with it. The two really enjoyed playing together on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Edwards decided, hey, this guy's telling me, come to New York, come to New York. There's so many ways I can answer this. The best way is let me just propel up my friend who's now a New Yorker, who's now on the Knicks, who's going to do great things on the Knicks. And honestly, is the perfect answer when you look at it because it's fun, it makes stories, and also, if we're being honest, Edwards is going to become a free agent eventually, and it would be surprising to see him not entertain going to the New York Knicks. Now, that free agency doesn't come till the 2029 offseason, as Edwards did sign a max extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he's getting paid a boatload of money, all on guaranteed years, until 2029 when he's a free agent. Now, there's also a 15% trade kicker. Not that he's going to get traded at all, but if he does, his entire contract goes up 15%, or every single year it goes up 15% from what it was in the prior year. And it's also important to mention that Edwards, he might want to go somewhere where he's in the spotlight. I mean, let's be real. Anthony Edwards is probably going to be one of the faces, if not the face of the NBA in a few years. Minnesota is not a big market. Now, they have an awesome fan base, and the team has been ran very well. Chris Finch is an awesome head coach. The management has been really good. But so is the Knicks. And the Knicks are an MSG. The Knicks have never really had the face of basketball. Anthony Edwards will know that. And he'll know that he has a chance to do something insane while joining up with an older Jalen Brunson at this point who'd be 34, and a Knicks team that's getting up there in age with their core, but Edwards knows he could be the next installment of it, revive the New York Knicks after the probably wonderful run that they had over the next 4 years from now. And it will be something that Edwards is definitely going to at least entertain. I mean, Anthony Edwards has been someone who, since joining the NBA, showed his potential, and the question was if he would ever be there. It's why he was picked first overall. That draft was weird. There was no clear first overall pick, but Minnesota went with Edwards, and it turned out to be very, very fruitful, as Edwards quickly became the best player from that draft. Now, he didn't win Rookie of the Year, as LaMelo Ball did win that Rookie of the Year that year, But since then, LaMelo, who also has been an all-star in his second year in his NBA career, he's dealt with injuries over the last few years, and it's kind of hampered him, and maybe he'll be back and fully healthy, and I hope he is, because LaMelo Ball's a fun player to watch, and you never want to root for a guy to get injured. I don't really dislike any NBA stars because I like watching them play basketball, so it's hard for me to have a real beef with them. I think the one person that comes to mind is Joel Embiid for making that dirty play on Mitchell Robinson. But even so, I'd be lying if I said it. I still don't find Embiid super entertaining to watch. Everyone who makes the NBA better, I'll be a fan of. Anthony Edwards is making the NBA much better, so I'm a huge fan of him, and I'm a huge fan of his game. I mean, the man is a human highlight.
In that first half, another turnover for Utah.
Edwards gets whether he's flying over John Collins or just making plays around the rim,
in the third,
jump shots.
Fun game in the Twin Cities.
Look at the moves by Edwards. Look, the man is going out there and he's doing insane
advantage glass for the Wolves. Edwards.
The man is just a highlight. There's no other way to put it. He is a highlight type player. Talks a lot of trash.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Winning teams. I mean, the Timberwolves made it to the conference finals last season, led by Edwards, who was so young.
10th in that first half. Another turnover for Utah.
Now we're in the scenario where we're going to see this man continue to grow. But as I've said before, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think they got worse through this Karl Anthony Towns trade. I don't see how Julius Randle fits with the Timberwolves. Julius is a phenomenal player, don't get me wrong. But as I said on the last video that came out, it's just not a lot of court spacing on that team. You have Jaden McDaniels, who shot 31.7% from three last year. You have Julius Randle, who shot 31.1% from three last year. You have Rudy Gobert, who doesn't shoot the ball at all. And then it's just Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards in the starting lineup. Now, maybe there's a world where we see Mike Conley start coming off the bench and Timberwolves run Dante DiVincenzo at point guard, something they did last night against the Knicks, and something they've seemingly liked doing in training camp so far. But this team is going to be Anthony Edwards' team as long as he's here. And Edwards, I mean, nothing short of phenomenal player. 26 points per game, which went up to in the 30s during the playoffs. 5 rebounds, 5 assists per game. Shoots 46% from the field and 36% from three. Can really shoot off the dribble from three or off the catch and shoot. His corner threes should be better, but he's not someone who's hanging out in the corner very much. He just turned 23 not that long ago, and the man is an absolute star in the NBA. He's only getting better. I mean, look, he's not at his peak yet. We saw him go out in Game 7 against the Nuggets and play an atrocious game. We've seen people act like Anthony Edwards is putting up 30 points per game when he's putting up 26. This year, he might put up 30 points per game. I mean, in preseason, in under 30 minutes, he had 31 points against the Knicks, who are one of the best, if not the best, defense in basketball this year. So Edwards is going to break out even more. He's going to continue to get better. And there's going to be a point where if the Timberwolves don't get it done, especially if it leads with Karl Anthony Towns staying in Nick, we're going to see Anthony Edwards be interested in leaving. Everyone has their shelf life when it comes to patience with their team. Some people, it's way more than others. For instance, Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. But there's so many times where you're going to see a player hit their breaking point. I would not be shocked if Anthony Edwards has... I don't think he's going to have the highest breaking point in the world. I don't think it'll be super low or anything. But I do think we'll most likely see Anthony Edwards eventually, if the Timberwolves play bad, either request a trade or wait for free agency and leave. And with the way the Knicks have turned themselves around, they're going to be a free agent destination. I mean, here's the deal, guys. The quote that Edwards said, even entertaining the idea of coming to New York, this would have never happened 4 years ago, 3 years, or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when the Knicks were still the laughing stock of basketball. Now, mind you, the Timberwolves were also terrible back then, but the Knicks were the true laughing stocks of the NBA, and it was this world where nothing was working for them. The quick fixes were not working. No free agent was going to go there and be the guy to save the Knicks. It had to be Julius Randle, who propelled them, and then it led to Jalen Brunson, and it led to a pretty organic rise of this team. And now they're going to be a free agent destination every single year because the Knicks are good. Everyone wants to play for the Knicks when they're good. They're an exciting team. They're only getting better. People are watching the phenomenal chemistry they have, and they see what Knicks fans are like. So Not that I'm saying the Knicks are going to trade for Anthony Edwards. They never will. They'll never have the assets to do it, and the Timberwolves will never trade Anthony Edwards unless he demands a trade. But in 2029, in 5 years from now, there is a better chance of the Knicks landing Anthony Edwards than most people are saying. And I'm not saying the Knicks are going to land him. I'm saying there's a better chance than what people are giving him credit for, because at the end of the day, the Knicks are a free agent destination, and they're what's cool in basketball now. So it could always be possible. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Go Knicks.